felt weak. So we stopped them and did stretches and exercise that didn't make it angry. After that, I took my painkillers. We had meetings for a couple of hours and then went out on the training pitch. I didn't feel too bad warming up, although the hip was biting at me every now and again. We started with 20 minutes of unstructured stuff, a game of attack and D in which we alternated between the two. With Munster coming in 3 days' time, training was intense. It was fast, like a game. I was in D for the first few minutes and turned quickly to tackle someone, but just couldn't run. I pulled up. I was going to pull out of the session, but then I reasoned with myself. You're only in the session a couple of minutes. This might warm up again. That was often the case. It could take 15 minutes of movement, but as I'd get into the session and get up to speed, I'd generally be okay. The heat and the adrenaline would loosen it up. About 4 minutes later, one of the backs, I think it was Ringer, made a half break, and I was tracking him. Both of us were sprinting, and as he turned back inside me, I went to turn as well, and my whole right leg went from under me. I thought, what the fuck was that? The pain fired up into my groin. In fact, it felt like someone had shot me. I was only on the ground for about 5 seconds, but then it became a constant, hard ache. I'd no power in my right leg. I was on the side of the pitch, where there were no coaches or players. The only person nearby was Johnny. I limped off on the opposite side of the pitch, away from the other players who were carrying knocks from the Saracens game, and the staff. I didn't want to be near anybody else. Max Deegan swapped in for me straight away. I knew it then. I knew that I was fucked. I knew that I wasn't in with a shout for Saturday, and I wouldn't be involved for the final in Glasgow the following week if we beat Munster. I knew that there was only one way left to deal with this, an operation. I was pretty upset. There were tears streaming down my face. I didn't want to go over to the rest of them. I wanted to be on my own until I got myself together. Johnny was being managed after picking up a knock in the European final. Coming in and out of training, he walked around the pitch and could see I was upset. He said to me, if it's not right, it's not right. Don't be the hero. Don't make it worse. It's not worth destroying yourself. I went back to the other side of the pitch and up to Leo. It's not right. That was all I said to him. I could see he knew. We didn't need to talk. Walking off the field, various thoughts and emotions flooded through me. I immediately thought of London Irish. I'd signed to join them after the World Cup. Now I was going to have to tell them that I was retiring, which I didn't want to do. I thought of the World Cup being gone, even though I desperately wanted to make amends for what had happened in 2015. And I thought of my Ireland career being over. My Leinster career was done too, and not the way I wanted it to be done. I came home to Dundrum. Sarah was coming back up to Dublin later that night. I rang her and said, this has to stop. I can't keep fighting this battle. Mentally, it's been wearing me out for a year and a half. The next day I went back to UCD and called into Leo's office. Leo had been a little emotional around me in the last few months. My move to London Irish and the way my time at Leinster had come to an end had clearly got to him. I could see that it was bugging him. He could also see I was trying everything to be ready to play. But I'd say he could also see how it wasn't working. Not to the level required anyway. I said to him, I'm going to have to see what the next option is. He said, look, it's not the way I wanted you to go out either. I love Leo. He was one of my favourite players to play with, an exceptional captain. I learned a hell of a lot from him. A serious coach, highly knowledgeable, great with people. I always had an excellent relationship with him. What you see is what you get with Leo. He can be blunt, but that's the way he is, and the way he played, hard and straight. He probably never got the recognition he fully deserved as a player, but he was phenomenal. There wasn't much else to be said. I didn't want to get into it all again. So much had pulled at me emotionally in the last few months, more than any other time in my career. I was drained. On the following Monday, and again on Wednesday, I Skyped with Professor Damien Griffin, the orthopaedic surgeon who had done my 2 previous hip operations. I told him everything that had happened to me since the last operation. All the symptoms and incidents I could recall, the whole story. He told me I had 2 options left. I could have the resurface, the operation the tennis player Andy Murray had undergone, and see if I could still play afterwards, or else I could have a full hip replacement and retire from rugby. I'm not finishing, I said. He asked me why not. I haven't done what I wanted to do in the last 2 years. I'm feeling great apart from my hip. I played very little rugby, and I still have goals.